Sup nerds, I'm Tom. We're going to talk about Francis Drake, which you may be saying, Tom, that's kind of like an older game. Why are you talking about it now? Well, it's my channel. I can do what I want. The first thing I want to say about this game, and this is true for a lot of Eagle Gryphon games, is the component quality is absolutely phenomenal, and the game is huge. Like, I could barely even fit this whole board in the frame here. Like, it's just so huge. Almost a little bit unnecessarily so, but you know, I'd much rather they go the extra mile than try to cram a bunch of stuff on a smaller board. I know for those of you who don't have a lot of table space, which actually for me I don't, I can't play this game at my house. I have to go somewhere else where there's a bigger table like this one for me to actually be able to play it. But that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make because this game is really fun. Like, it is impressively fun. I know I've said this a bunch, but it is a game that I did look at in the past and look at how bland the board is and everything, and I kind of went, eh. And it is very Euro-y, so again, 2 years ago, Tom probably wouldn't have loved this as much. It's probably not right. It's probably more like 3 or 4 years ago, Tom. Man, I'm getting old. But the main thing about this game that's really interesting is that it has two very distinct game modes. It's kind of like two games in one, or more so, two games back to back. Because you have this Tokaido-like mechanism with this time track here. It's not really time, but I guess it is kind of like a time track in the fact that it's only one way. You start here and you keep going to the end here, and once you take something, you can't go back and go to an earlier space. And also the first person to get to a space gets a better version of that thing most of the time. So you kind of have this crowding thing where you're saying, well, I want to stop at each one of these spots. I want to get all these resources. And that's what you're doing really, is you're just gathering resources in this area, and then you come out here and you have sort of a, not really area control, but kind of a blind bidding conquest type of thing. Kind of hard to describe over here. And those two things are so conflicting, but you really need one to be able to function in the other. You need to gather all these resources to spend them to complete these missions or whatever you want, conquests or whatever, to get the points that you get there. But the way you gather these resources is really clever and really fun. Now, I've heard a lot of people say that it can be a problem if you shuffle up these tiles, because the way that it's printed on the board here doesn't have to be the way that you play it. You can take the tiles and shuffle them up and lay them out so that it's different every single time, and sometimes that can lead to a bit of an issue. I actually haven't played that way. I probably would play that way after I played it a bunch and I feel like, we're all kind of doing the same thing, which did kind of happen a little bit. I tended to take not the same exact strategy, but similar strategies. This first half, though, is definitely my favorite part about the game. Not to say that I don't like the second half. I really do. And if I didn't like the second half, the first half wouldn't be able to, I can't just like play this part and then be like, all right, I guess I'll do this stupid part down here. I just can't wait to get back to the good part. This is still a lot of fun and really clever because you're bidding on these different areas. First of all, you're gathering all of these resources so you can win these areas. I need to have enough crew to beat these soldiers, or to beat these guns, or to fight this ship up here, right? And the first one to do that and do it successfully will get points. Actually, you get points for doing it successfully. You get more points for doing it first. So you have little tokens numbered 1 through 4 that you're going to place face down, and we'll reveal them all after we all go around and place all of our tokens. We'll reveal them and say, ha, I put my 1 here where you put your 2. 1 is better than 2, so I conquer this first. If we put the same color, then player turn order is what would trump that. So there's a little bit of like mind games of that. Well, I know that if I put this 1 here, I'll beat this person, this person, this person. But this person, who, if they put their 1 there, could beat me, has already placed a token there. So maybe I shouldn't risk it. Because, again, it's not risking it. There is a bit of risking it. So with that player versus player portion, you could be risking it and that you don't win first and you don't get that gem. These, again, really absolutely beautiful gems that go in these super cool little treasure chests here. They slide right in, and it came out the bottom there, but you're supposed to do that to hide it. It's for endgame points, so people don't know how many points everybody has. But the first person to, win that area gets that gem. So again, you may say, I don't know if I want to put this token here because Greg is there, and if Greg put the same number as me, he's going to beat me, so maybe I should go somewhere else. There is a little bit of, oh, well, I know that I have exactly the crew or the guns or whatever they need to beat this. There are some tiles that can be placed that are modifiers, so you can say, well, I know I need at least 2 guns to beat this, but maybe it's more. Maybe it's up to 3 more guns. Maybe I need 5 guns. Maybe I can't even beat this. So maybe I'll put my token here anyways and risk it. But then there's a player who actually put those tokens out who knows, and it just creates a lot of really cool dynamics at the table. Again, probably not my favorite part of the game, probably not my favorite mechanic in any game in general, but this plus that leads for a really, really fun experience, and an experience that I think a lot of people can get pretty easily. And it's a relatively quick game. Surprisingly, it's huge, and it looks like, you'd think that this would be a big investment. But once you teach people the rules and you sit down to play it, it's only 3 rounds. We go along this track 3 times, and we do that thing 3 times. So honestly, what does the box say? 90 to 120 minutes? That's a little overkill, I'd say. And I mean, I guess it depends on player count and the people you're playing with and whatever. But, and maybe if it's your first game, if you're including the teaching part of it, but you can play this game in an hour, I would definitely say. The only real complaint I have is that while this game is super beautiful and wonderful and the component quality and everything is awesome, a lot of the resources, well, there's 3 resources that are just these tiny little cubes. And I'm pretty certain that this game was Kickstarted, so I think this is just like a stretch goal they didn't get to upgrade these. And I know that there are Meeple source upgrades, so I'd probably get those eventually. But it is a little bit of a bummer when it's super duper beautiful, and then this one resource that wasn't up to snuff to compare to everybody else. But I do really like that the player colors are so bright, because the whole board is pretty bland, right? Like I said, the old Tom wouldn't have liked the blandness, but I mean, it's historically accurate and thematic and all that kind of stuff, which is great. I like that. If anybody I'm playing with is a history buff, they'll enjoy that portion of it. And there's like a different language on some of the other some of the tiles are double-sided with different language, just extra fun stuff there. But this track up here, once everybody starts seeding it with all of their tokens, it starts to really pop. It becomes a big, colorful concept, and it's really easy to tell my pieces from your pieces when, we're kind of going for the fight down here. So if you can't tell, I highly recommend you check out Francis Drake by Eagle Griffin Games. It's really, really fun. I'm going to put a purchase link in the description box down below. I definitely recommend you got to go get yourself a copy of this game, assuming you have the table space. And while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you'll never be bored. Boom. Look at this little shit.